I used to think every daughter deserved one birthday that felt like it belonged to her, just one. But every year somehow, my birthday became another celebration for my younger sister Emily. When we were kids, I convinced myself it didn't matter. Mom always had an excuse. Emily's been having a hard week. She's younger. Let her choose the cake. Don't make today about yourself. I believed her because I wanted to. By the time I turned 26, I was still hoping things would finally be different. This birthday felt special. I had just received a promotion at work after years of struggling. I had saved enough money to move into my own apartment, and for the first time, I felt proud of the woman I had become. Mom even called me 3 weeks before my birthday. "Let's do something nice this year," she said warmly. "You deserve it." Those words meant everything to me. For days, I imagined what it would feel like to sit around one table where everyone was actually celebrating me. Nothing extravagant, just dinner, cake, a few laughs, maybe one family photo where I wasn't standing in the background. I even took a vacation day from work, bought a new blue dress, reserved my favorite little Italian restaurant, paid the deposit myself because Mom insisted she'd reimburse me later. For once, I believed her. Then, 5 days before my birthday, my phone rang. It was Mom. She didn't even ask how I was. "Honey, we're going to have to cancel." I froze. "Cancel?" "Emily got accepted into a dance competition. We're throwing her a celebration instead." "You understand, don't you?" There it was again. Those 4 words that had followed me my entire life. You understand. No apology, no hesitation. Just another reminder that my happiness could always wait. I looked at the dress hanging beside my closet, the restaurant confirmation email, the little birthday candles I had secretly bought because no one ever remembered them. Something inside me quietly cracked. But what hurt the most wasn't the canceled dinner. It was what Mom said next. "You're older now. Birthdays aren't that important anymore." I smiled through the silence. "Of course," I whispered. "I understand." She thanked me for being the mature one before hanging up. I stood alone in my apartment for nearly an hour. No tears, no anger, just emptiness, until everything changed. That evening, I opened social media. Emily had already posted pictures of balloons, gifts, decorations, and a banner that read, "Celebrating our favorite girl." Favorite. One word, one photograph. Years of pretending suddenly disappeared. For the first time in my life, I stopped trying to earn a place in a family that had already decided where I belonged. And that night, I made a decision no one saw coming. The next morning, I didn't call Mom. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply canceled every plan that involved my family. Instead of spending my birthday waiting for people who never chose me, I chose myself. I booked a last-minute flight to a quiet seaside town, 3 states away. No relatives, no expectations, no disappointments. Just me. As the plane lifted into the clouds, I felt strangely calm. For the first time, nobody expected me to sacrifice my happiness for someone else. I spent 3 peaceful days walking along the beach, watching sunrises, reading books, eating cake by myself while strangers smiled and wished me happy birthday. Ironically, people who had never met me showed me more kindness than my own family had in years. Then my phone started ringing, again and again. Mom, Emily, my aunt, my cousins. Dozens of missed calls. I ignored everyone. Finally, my aunt left a voicemail. "Your mother is upset. She says you embarrassed the family by disappearing." Embarrassed? I laughed for the first time in weeks. Not because it was funny, but because it was unbelievable. They weren't worried about me. They were worried about how my absence looked. When I returned home, I found another surprise waiting. Mom had posted online, "Family is everything. We're so blessed to have daughters who always support each other." Hundreds of likes, people commenting, "What a beautiful family. Such wonderful parents." They had built a perfect picture using the daughter they constantly forgot. That was the moment I stopped protecting their image. I calmly wrote a short comment. "Interesting. My birthday dinner was canceled 5 days ago, so this celebration could happen instead. I hope Emily enjoys it." I spent my birthday alone, but thankfully, I learned something priceless. I didn't insult anyone. I didn't argue. I simply told the truth. Within minutes, comments exploded. Friends began asking questions. Old neighbors admitted they had noticed the favoritism for years. Even distant relatives privately messaged me saying, "We always wondered why you were treated differently." Mom called immediately. "Delete that comment," she shouted. "You're making us look terrible." I finally answered, For the first time in my life, I didn't apologize. I didn't make anyone look terrible, I said calmly. I only stopped pretending. Silence. Then she whispered, "How could you do this to your family?" I looked around my quiet apartment, a place I had built completely on my own. Then I asked the question I had waited 26 years to say. When was the last time this family chose me? Over the next few weeks, everything changed. Not because I wanted revenge, because I finally created boundaries. I stopped attending family dinners where I felt invisible. I stopped paying for events no one appreciated. I stopped saying yes simply to keep everyone comfortable. Instead, I focused on myself. My career continued growing. I accepted another promotion. I joined a hiking club, made genuine friends, even started volunteering at a local youth center where I met girls struggling with family rejection. Helping them slowly healed parts of me I didn't even know were broken. Meanwhile, Mom discovered something unexpected. Without the responsible daughter, quietly fixing everything behind the scenes, life became difficult. Emily wasn't interested in organizing holidays. Bills were forgotten. Plans fell apart. Family gatherings became smaller. The balance they had taken for granted had disappeared. Months later, Mom asked to meet for coffee. She looked older, quieter. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, tears filled her eyes. "I thought you would always stay," she admitted. Those words hurt more than any apology, because they revealed the truth. She hadn't believed I deserved better. She simply assumed I would never leave. I smiled gently, not with anger, not with satisfaction, just peace. "I stayed for 26 years, I said softly. "Now I'm choosing me." She nodded slowly. For once, she understood. We didn't magically become a perfect family. Some wounds take longer to heal. Some relationships never return to what they were. But something inside me changed forever. I no longer measured my worth by someone else's attention. I celebrated my next birthday, surrounded by friends who remembered without being asked. There were candles, laughter, photos, and when they sang happy birthday, I cried. Not because I was sad, because for the first time, I finally believed I deserved to be celebrated. If my mother had never chosen my sister over me again and again, I might never have found the courage to choose myself. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's quietly building a beautiful life that no longer depends on their approval. And that's the lesson I carry with me every single day. Because the moment I stopped begging for a place at someone else's table, I discovered I was strong enough to build my own.